Welcome, Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Babs Felt and a news wrap with Caitlin Fox Thomas to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you today, Tremayne Whitehead. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsor. So hang tight, we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back. In campus news, Lee Ann Peavy relishes being a role model for young women considering studies and careers in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, discipline. In 1984, graduate of the University of Southern Mississippi's Polymer Science program, Peavy remains passionate about her field more than 40 years later. A national board-certified teacher and instructor at Brookhaven Technical Center, Peavy also spent more than a decade working in the industry. Earlier this year, she was recognized for her passion, dedication, and impact in the classroom when the White House named her, along with outstanding educators across the country, as one of the recipients for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching, the top honors bestowed by the U.S. government to K-12 STEM teachers. Peavy was named a state finalist for the 2023 PAEMST in Science in the spring of 2023 after a state selection committee chose her finalist in both mathematics and science. The National Science Foundation reviewed their applications. The NSF then recommended one mathematics and one science winner for each state to the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Peavy was officially noticed of her national award by email from NSF in January. Also in campus news, University of Southern Mississippi's freshman Molly Collins was recognized earlier this semester with the Congressional Award Program's Silver Medal, an honor that acknowledges achievements in voluntary public service, personal development, physical fitness, and expedition and exploration. To earn the Congressional Silver Medal, Collins completed more than 200 hours of voluntary public service, 100 hours of personal development, 100 hours of physical fitness, and met the requirements for the program's expedition category. The Congressional Award Program is open to youths ages 14 through 24. A computer science major from Madison, Mississippi, Collins was presented the award by Brady Stewart, District Director for U.S. Representative Michael Guess. Collins began her efforts in the program by volunteering at the City of Madison's Farmers Market, where she worked at the city's booth helping create free children's activities and assisted with social media. She later joined the Metro Leo Club, sponsored by the Lions Club of Madison, where she contributed to projects such as Earth Day on the Res with Keep the Res Beautiful and organized a Tour of Countries event for the Madison Library. In Hattiesburg news, leaders in Forest County met with local organizations to proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Studies show Mississippi has the third highest rate of crimes against children. The Schaefer Center in Hattiesburg provides support, counseling, and referral and information to victims. The goal is to keep people aware of abuse that might be happening around them. We see a lot of victims that come from the Hattiesburg area, but we also serve 10 other counties besides Forest County, said Ashley Blankenship. The hope is that they are more aware and that they take victims seriously. I hope they understand that it is important to keep victims in their time of need. The Schaefer Center also provides several Green Dot training sessions each month. If you or someone has been a victim of sexual assault, call the center's 24-hour hotline at 601-264-7777. 601-264-7777. In Mississippi news, the National Library Week, but in Mississippi, it's National Library Week, but in Mississippi, good Lord, library systems are still reeling from last month's cuts. The Mississippi Library Association has no mention of this year's Library Week on its website. Instead, there is a statement saying the group opposes a March 14th executive order issued by President Donald J. Trump, which has all but eliminated a number of federal agencies, including the Institute of Museum and Library Services. For now, many of the cuts are to the library's digital services, such as Hoopla, an online book lending app that allows libraries to offer online reading to their patrons. In some areas of Mississippi, access to Hoopla was terminated immediately. In others, the number of books a reader can check out through Hoopla was reduced. Libraries must pay a fee to use the service now. In Hattiesburg, the number fell from 6 books per month to 4. Other library programs and services have been affected by the cuts, according to the Mississippi Library Association, such as early childhood literacy programs, high-speed internet in rural areas, job search assistance, and access to technology. This decision threatens a critical program that provides essential funding for library services and programs across our state. The statement says, libraries receive just 0.003% of the federal budget, yet they provide essential services that benefit all Mississippians. Also in Mississippi news, Mississippi hospitals will be required to perform rape kits on sexual assault victims who come to their ERs pending a signature from the government. That's thanks to a bill lawmakers passed unanimously on Thursday. The policy will mandate all hospitals stock rape kits, have a provider available to perform the kit, and that they don't have any rape victims turn any victims away. The legislation was inspired by several cases where survivors did not receive routine treatment at hospitals, according to sexual assault advocacy organizations. Most recently, the mother of a child in central Mississippi said that they were turned away from an ER that said they didn't do that after her child was allegedly assaulted. Senate Public Health Chair Hob Bryan Diamori tried to kill the bill Tuesday by raising the rule violation or point of order. Bryan, who let similar legislation die by not bringing it up to vote to his committee earlier in the season, told Mississippi Today he brought up the point of order to stall the bill because he didn't think lawmakers had sufficiently studied the scope of the problem or the impact of the bill's language. The bill passed its final legislative hurdle regardless in Senate on Thursday. It now heads to the governor. The policy will go into effect July 1st. That's all for your news update from Southern Miss Today. We'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. There are no sports until Friday, April 11th, when track and cross country will be at the Crimson Tide Invitational, the beach volleyball team will be at the Battle on the Bayou, and the softball and baseball teams will be playing against Texas State. On Saturday, April 12th, the women's soccer team will be playing against Alabama State and the University of West Florida. The men's tennis team will be playing against Old Dominion University, and the women's tennis team will be playing against Arkansas State. On Sunday, April 13th, the men's tennis team will be at James Madison University. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 44 with a low chance of rain and a high of 72. The feels like for today is 42 to 76 degrees. And tomorrow, look for a low of 51 and a high of 79 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 49 to 80 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with Babs Felt's reflection on the need for mental health workers after Hurricane Katrina. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. The disruption caused by Hurricane Katrina took an emotional toll on the survivors. 2 months later, Red Cross Director Babs Falk reflected on the need for mental health workers.
If I don't get cussed out by 8:30 in the morning every day, I feel like I'm not doing my job. That's the nature of the beast. I know that I have a lot of processing to do myself, and I cannot do it by myself. to get myself back to not feeling responsible for the folks we didn't get to help, or that we didn't help as much as we should. Because right now, I feel like everybody that doesn't get what they need is because I'm not doing what I should do. And I'm concerned about the volunteers and staff here who have not had time to decompress. They've not had an opportunity because we're still working lots of long hours, lots of days. That's why disaster mental health workers and Red Cross are so critical and are not only dealing with the clients, but they're going to be dealing with all of us too, to help us work through all the emotions.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Tremayne Whitehead after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of housing discrimination.
It's so wrong.
But who has the power to stop this?
You do. The law is on your side. If you've been discriminated against because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status, file a complaint with HUD. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
Visit HUD.gov/fairhousing, a public service message from HUD and the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Tremayne. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Could you introduce yourself and what you're here to talk about today?
Yes, my name is Tremayne Whitehead. I'm the president of the Pine Belt Master Gardeners here at Service Forest in Lamar County. And we are here promoting our annual Spring Garden Day, which is Saturday, April 12th at the Forest County Multipurpose on Highway 49.
Awesome. And real quick, could I just give you that one? You can keep the headphones on.
All right.
And I don't know why they got switched. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Open your car radio and you will see me doing that. I need to stop telling people to do that. What is the Spring Garden Day? Also, you're fine. It was like that. I don't know why it was.
Okay. Our Spring Garden Day is our annual event where we invite the public out to, one, receive education. We'll have speakers. We also have vendors. And it's also a chance for us to interact with the public and public to see what Master Gardeners do. And it's also one of our fundraisers.
What sort of activities specifically are planned for the event?
Well, we have two speakers. We also will have vendors there. We also have plant sales. We'll have a raffle, silent auction, and even door prizes. It's totally free, so it's you have a free time on Saturday morning. Come out and spend time with us.
Awesome. And you did mention Saturday. Where is it and what time?
I say it's the Hattiesburg Multipurpose on Highway 49. It's 952 Sullivan Drive. When you turn in, you will see the front, which is a lot of parking. Go a little further back, you will see the Mississippi State University Extension Office. That's where you park, and come on in.
Awesome. How can community members get involved with Spring Garden Day, besides the fact that you mentioned, like, it is free to go to?
Absolutely. Well, we don't ask for anything of the public. We just want you to come. Now, if you wish to purchase some plants, we do have plants, so that will benefit us in some way. But besides that, just come out and enjoy yourselves.
So when was the first Spring Garden Day?
We've had Spring Garden Days going back as far as 2002. And back then, though, it was like I said, it was a fundraising venture, so you had to pay to get in.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have it where it's totally free. Other master gardeners from throughout the area come. They get educational hours listening to the speakers. So because of that, we have it totally free and just have it for everyone.
Awesome. That's actually especially now, a lot of stuff is like $20 to do like anything.
Yes, and we know that you're taking time out of your schedule, especially on a beautiful Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate it. You spending time with us. You're getting some interaction. And also, one key thing about the Master Gardens is we are wanting to get education out there.
Mhm.
That's one of our main tenets. So we don't want to charge for that.
And I bet a lot of people are grateful for that, especially college students.
Absolutely. And we know that right now you're in college, you're not really thinking about plants or gardening. Well, maybe your parents do.
Mhm.
You may not have space. We've actually had some students come from USM, William Carey, and they'll even get a little plant, like just to put in their window.
Mhm.
And that's perfect. We just want you to get growing something.
I think having plants is definitely some people don't like plants, but it's definitely something that is helpful to have in like your living space if you don't have like an animal or like another person that you live with, because it's a responsibility that kind of keeps you. It's not every single day depending on the plant, so you could pick something that's like like you water it once a week or
Absolutely.
something like that, and it's still a form of responsibility. Me and my roommate were actually talking about this for next year with getting a bunch of plants for our apartment, because you have to tend to them. You can't just
That's true.
let them. There's some you can, obviously, but you can't just let them sit there. So it makes you have to get on with your day. And for some
Right.
people that can't, like, they don't want to go to like deal with a certain part of their room that may be messy. Put a plant over there. Your room probably won't get messy because you don't want to have to hurtle over all of it just to
That's
take care
true.
of a plant.
That's true.
And you mentioned that it started back in the early 2000s. When did you start working with it?
I became a master gardener in the fall of 2021. It was during the pandemic. I've been gardening for years, and so I've seen a article about master gardens, and I was like, "What is that? What is that about?" And so found out through Mississippi State University, other schools have it as well, and so you take the course and you're learning. But one thing we try to insist on people that could they hear the phrase master gardener, so they think we're experts. There is no such thing as an expert when it comes to gardening. You're always learning something new. You're picking up on new information. What we know about plants and gardening 10 years ago, a lot of it's irrelevant now because we're learning more about natives, ways to properly take care of plants differently. So that was a thing for me because I love trying to learn something, understanding what's going on. So it gave me more knowledge, and we also we focus, like I said, on the education where we teach people and we learn ourselves, but we also do volunteer work throughout the community where we work with different, if some of your libraries around town, you may see a sign that says that this was worked on by master gardeners. We do projects at the Oak Grove Library, the Hattiesburg Library, the one in Purvis, even the one in Summerall. So it's community service and learning something.
Also, what you mentioned about learning stuff, my dad actually picked up doing plants because he needed something else, because he's a doctor and he's got like all the night shifts, and so he needed something else to be doing, especially because me and my sister aren't always over there. He needed something else to work towards, and that wasn't just him doing his hospital stuff, and he picked up gardening, and he actually made what is supposed to be a storage room in our house entirely into a greenhouse. And he's like, that's my greenhouse. Don't go in there.
Oh, that's how it starts. If you get one plant, it's going to turn to 3.
I watched it happen.
It's going to turn to 5. It's going to turn to 10. And then you're going to have people telling you, you got too many plants. Listen.
No.
You don't want that negativity around you. We don't go with that. If you got one, it needs company.
Obviously.
So, and like you were saying about your roommates, a perfect, like for instance, a spider plant. Not spider plant, I'm sorry.
Spider lily?
No, it's mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And they actually will help filter the air
Ooh.
in your living space. So a lot of people will have those plants in there, and they're good. They don't need a whole lot of light. As long as you don't overwater them, it's hard to kill them.
Austin, you hear that? I hope he's listening in there. But there you go, because we actually use a lot of air purifier. We have an air purifier and a dehumidifier in our room. He has like a bunch of plants up there. I think he'd be like, oh my God. No, but also a lot of people are like, oh, people keep plants. People just like keeping plants, which, yeah, but also that helps with the entire ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Especially like you mentioned, doing plants outside of libraries. Not only does it look pretty, but you've got more if there's flowering plants, you've got more plants for pollinators to carry elsewhere, and especially if it's an area that tends to be just really sad plant wise, and you could put like a little small garden there, and the
Absolutely.
rest of the area will look in a few years a lot better because there's pollinators. People are going over there more often because it's
Absolutely.
prettier. People are like, oh, we should do more here.
And that's one thing that we're pushing more now about natives. Like I'm not saying if you have this pretty plant that's not native here to get rid of it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that. But our natives need love.
Mhm.
If you have a native and you put it in your yard or put it in a space, nature is going to come.
Mhm.
And then eventually they're usually much more low maintenance because they're used to their surroundings. They're
Yep.
used to this. And you're going to have you're going to have the pollinators come. You're going to have the beneficial insects. And then it's going to keep, like I say, it's going to help the environment and spread as it goes. And then if that plant has a baby or drops seeds and then more plants, you're not worried about the environment effect because you're doing a positive of letting it native do what it does.
Yeah, and in the long run, you might not even have to like, the library, wherever, might not even have to like contact people like, hey, can you come fix up our garden? Because it'll do it itself,
Oh,
because that's
absolutely.
how it works when it's a good area. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like a random like flower, like in like
Yeah.
a bowl or something.
Yeah, now when we had the snow and then that week of at or below freezing temperatures, yes, a lot of things suffered. Even some natives will suffer.
Mhm.
But we tell people they see the brown branches, like now is when you check back. You seeing some green coming off, you see it just suffered, it's bouncing back. Now at this point in time, if it's still brown, yeah, it's probably dead now, and that's okay. That just means another plant.
Yeah, and then not like let your plants die, but like it
Right.
makes it a lot easier having plants and knowing how to take care of them to be able to just fix it. Because a lot of people that don't take care of plants, they'll be like, no, my plant died, like now what do I do?
Mhm.
And if you know things about gardening, you know things about plants, you're more confident about it
Oh,
coming back. Like you said, like you were like, if it's brown still, but by now it should be coming back. Like
Yeah.
you just know that off the top of your
Yes.
head.
And that's what we have learned as Master Gardening. That's what we share with the community because I always get people asking me, oh, I have a black thumb. And I hate that phrase. You don't necessarily have a black thumb. You just are missing some of that knowledge and information that'll let you know, okay, my plant's looking droopy. Let me check it, the soil, to see if the soil is dry before I go to watering it. Because with people with houseplants, that's usually the biggest thing. They overwater. Because these plants are used to having the sun beam on it, wind blowing, helps to dry out if it's in a pot outside or if it's out in nature. Inside, you're not having that stronger light. You're not having that gust of wind. So it's going to take a longer time to dry out. So we try to inform people about that and the other things if you're planting outside.
Going back to, I realized I got a little off track there.
Oh,
Going
it's
back
totally
to
fine.
the event, what is your favorite part of the event personally?
My favorite part are the speakers, because we love to try to get different speakers. For instance, this our past spring last year we had Dr. Pat Drackett from the Crosby Arboretum, and a lot of people didn't know about the Arboretum and what it does and the benefits that they provide. So I love having people come to me say, I've never heard this person, I didn't know about this. I'm so glad to hear about this. I want some of these events or things to happen here. We had the fall. We had Mr. Larry Stevenson. He works with preserving fruit trees that work in this region, in this area, and some that are disappearing because they're not the really sexy looking or popular ones that people don't know. So he preserves them, and he brought some of his trees for people to purchase. So after he spoke, it was like once the doors opened, the floodgates, and people were just rushing to him to purchase the trees, ask questions. I love seeing that.
That's what makes like events like this very important, is because people will either be like, oh, I don't know about this, or they know that they're not aware of it, but they don't know how easy it is to just learn about it, and then it could open up a whole other thing for them.
And you're so right. And for instance, our two speakers that we'll have Saturday, one of them is Nate Vernaski. He's a licensed horticulturalist, and he's going to talk about native plants that will benefit here in the Pine Belt. He is very knowledgeable. He's on some of the gardening groups like the Mississippi Gardening. He's also part of the Mississippi Native Plant Society. And so that information, if you're wondering about natives, want to get more into natives, then that's who you want to hear. The other person is Mr. Tracy Galloway. He's the owner of Galloway Farms down in Ocean Springs. He runs tours of his farm. It's about maybe an acre and a half. What he's done with that smaller space will blow your mind. And he's more of making the most of what you have. If you have grass and you're watering like every day, why water grass? When you could have plants, you could have things that provide you food, pollinators even. So he's going to speak about that and give some wonderful insight about what you can do in your yard, whether you're flowers, so Mr. Vanassi will cover that. If you're thinking about fruit trees or thinking about vegetables, it's getting that time, Mr. Galloway's going to cover you on that.
And what you actually mentioned just now about the food plants is I think a lot of people forget that they can do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like super, super easy, but it's pretty easy.
Oh, no, it's super, super
Oh, it
easy.
is?
Perfect example. I'll give you a quick one. If you, do you eat green onions?
Yes.
The ones you buy in the store,
Mm-hmm.
all right? You purchase them at any store or farmer's market, shameless plug, farmer's market on Thursday. If you get that, once it gets down, you chop it down to that white part of the stem, put it in a little bit of water. You don't have to put it in the ground yet. Put it in a little bit of water in like a shallow cup. It's going to start sprouting roots. You have to put it in your windowsill. The green is going to grow back. And all you got to do is just change out your water every few days to keep it clean. Chop off that green. As long as you leave that white in the roots, you got green onions for life.
I did not realize it was even that easy. Oh my God.
It is. Now, there's some that's a little complicated, but it's something for everyone.
Especially now with like all taxes and prices going up. Because I've been getting a lot of videos of people with like gardens at their houses or there was one guy that he had a trailer in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
He moved into a house and he brought it with him, but he didn't sell it. And he ended up gutting it and taking the top off and making it a greenhouse to make all of his like food. Like he grew all of his food in it.
I've seen somebody take a old school bus, gutted it out, took out all the seats, and where the seats would be, put tables to make the same effect, so the lights hit where the windows are, and having his own greenhouse. It's that simple. Like I tell people, if you don't have the space, and then I'll hear people say, well, I live in an apartment and I don't have a lot of space. You can grow in containers.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a 5-gallon bucket, you can grow something. Maybe you're only probably going to get one plant depending on the size of it, like a tomato plant, pepper plant, but it's a start. And I definitely encourage people to look around what you have. Look at the space. And come visit us or talk to us, and then see what you can do with that space, whether it's flowers or if you want to grow something that you can put on your kitchen table later. We're going to help you out.
And not the dorms. The dorms would be kind of hard. But like most apartments have like balconies or like
Absolutely.
a little, even if it's a little like tiny sliver of balcony. If it's a tiny sliver of balcony, how often are you sitting on your balcony? Then you could put buckets.
Yes.
Plants.
I have one friend. He lives in an apartment, has a balcony, and he has it covered with plants. And I mean some beautiful, beautiful plants. So if you have space, YouTube is your friend. You can get creative and look at, okay, I have this much space. What am I trying to do? And all right, I can put this here. This will work with that. We got hanging plants now. Hanging plants with strawberries. There you go.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't even think strawberries come from. I did know strawberries come from the ground. It's like I don't think I knew where strawberries came from. Well, I did get a little carried away talking about the importance of plants, but it is important.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap this up that you'd like anyone to know, you can repeat the date and time, whatever.
Again, we have our Spring Garden Day, Saturday, April 12th at the Forest County Multipurpose, 952 Sullivan Drive off of 49. We're going to have various different vendors. So if you're looking for plants, we're going to have people that bring in native plants. We're going to have roses. We're going to have somebody bringing camellias. So it's going to be all different types. It'll be wonderful speakers, so you get something out of it. We'll also have door prizes, so you come in, please register. That just helps us keep track of how we're doing every year and what we can improve on. Get your ticket. You can probably get a chance to door prize. You can do a raffle. If you don't have any money, that's fine. Come in and listen. We're going to have snacks as well, and it's a chance. Now, if you're wanting to learn more about Master Gardeners, we have our meetings on the first Wednesday of every month at 10. We usually have a speaker from 10 to 11. Then we have our business meeting from 11 to 12. The public is welcomed in on the speaker. If you're looking more to be a Master Gardener, you can look at the Mississippi State University Extension Office website. Type in Master Gardener. They usually have classes. Right now, I think they're doing it in the fall. So if you want something that may be more, but come check us out to see if that's something you may want to do.
Awesome. Thank you for everything that you've talked about today and for
absolutely.
coming in general.
I thank y'all so very much, giving us a chance and help spreading the word to the public.
Of course. That's exactly what this is for, and it's my favorite thing. I like making people aware of everything.
Yes.
Coming up, we've got Caitlin Fox-Thomas reporting on the Build Up Mississippi Act.
Planning on moving off campus anytime soon? Or just going to get groceries and gas? Well, on Thursday, March 27th, Governor Tate Reeves signed the Build Up Mississippi Act into law to eliminate income tax, lower the grocery tax, and raise the tax on gas prices. Students like junior Zachary Howell feel that this new law will keep them on campus rather than giving them the incentive to become a commuter.
This bill doesn't really help me to move out off of campus because if I'm paying more for gas, then even getting the groceries, like even if the tax is less, it's not really going to help me out very much. The cost is just not going to balance out enough for me to care.
Dr. Mehdi Barati, an economics professor here at USM, speaks positively about the bill.
I think more positively about it because as far as grocery sales or grocery taxes go, because 2% down would be a lot, especially for households. As far as the student goes, it depends how much they spend. My opinion is that most probably it offset, and after they graduate, hopefully it'll help.
The gas taxes will be implemented this summer, while the income tax and grocery tax will be lowered over the next few years. Kaylin Fox-Thomas, SMTV.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We're thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our audio producer, Cadence Renfro, our booker, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our lovely guest today. That's all for today on Southern Miss Radio. Thank you for listening. Remember, fly, eagle, fly. I'm your host, Abby Buzigard, signing off. Stay creepy.